Well, ladies and gentlemen, here in the audience and everybody watching here on Blaze Streaming Media, I am the King, and I am joined with Ophelia Mellons. How you doing?
I'm feeling great. Happy to be here, making my debut, 2015 Rose City Rollers as your announcer.
I am so glad to have you here. As you might know, she is a former Rat City lady, and she is down here now in the rainy city of Portland.
I am indeed happy to be here. Looks like we're ready to go down here. Referees getting ready to set us up for the first jam. We'll be playing 2 30-minute periods, and here we go.
Out there on the track right now for the Breakneck Betties. Star on her helmet, that's automatic weapon.
And just in the box now jamming for the Heartless Heathers in blue.
We like to give you guys a little bit of 101 at home and here in the audience. The jammers, they are the ones in charge of scoring the points. Their job is to get through the pack, lap the pack, and then every opposing blocker they pass, that counts as a point.
That's right. The jammers are the skaters with the stars on their helmets, and they're essentially the ball.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. They are the offense out there. Jess in the box, she just picked up a grand slam, passing all 5 opposing players on the track.
Little bit of confusion down here on the track that we'll be able to explain at the next break. Meanwhile,
yes,
Jess in the box still jamming her way. Big hit there.
Jess in the box right now is in a power jam. She's the only jammer out there, so therefore she's the only one eligible to score points.
Jess has already put 5 points on the board. She continues her way through that pack. Big hit there by Chestnuts on the outside of turn 1.
They have got some great defense, the Breakneck Betties. They're setting it up and basically recycling really well to keep her in the box.
And that was a big critical hit by Six Pack up front. And Jess will have to return to the rear of the pack to re-enter legally.
Yeah, she looked a little excited when she got knocked out there. She almost stepped back in, which would have caused a penalty.
Now, you'll notice that Automatic Weapon is still seated in the penalty box. She was awarded 2 penalties, so she will have to sit there for a full minute.
Finally, Jess in the box is broken free. That's another 5 points. Heartless Heathers now sitting at 10. That's a really good call-off. Now, what she did there was call off the jam, leaving Automatic Weapon standing in the penalty box, giving an opportunity for a lead jam down here at the start of this next jam.
That's right. So Screamin' Beaver is going to be wearing the star here for the Heartless Heathers. They'll be beginning with a power jam.
So, Ophelia, why did she have to spend a full minute in that box?
Well, when they tried to hand off the pivot stripe to the or from the jammer to the pivot, trying to hand the star over to her, she had committed a penalty, and the jammer needed to report to the box.
Yep, you can't
it's
come
not
back
the pivot.
Yep, you can't come back in and pick it up either. Once you're out, you're out. Now down there, Screamin' Beaver trying to fight her way through, ran around the turn number 2, and she's your lead jammer. Automatic Weapon served her time. It looks like she came out and passed it off. Ripley now with the star, still trying to fight her way through.
That's 5 points in the sky for Screamin' Beaver and the Heartless Heathers. She's now on her additional scoring pass with a strong defense by the Betties in red in the rear of the pack.
Yeah, Ripley, she just barreled her way through that pack. Picked up, or I should say, was not the lead jammer, but she finally fought her way through. 2 points, though, awarded for the Screamin' Beaver.
And you'll notice there also that the pack of skaters needs to stay in a tight cluster together. They're not allowed to be more than 10 feet apart. They can stretch out to 20 feet as long as there is a pack defined.
Well, speaking of the pack, another thing we want to talk about here is what is the pack? The pack are those other blockers out there that don't have the star on their helmet.
The pack is composed of blockers from both the teams. You get 3 from each team, plus 1 wearing a pivot stripe.
And their jobs are to play both offense and defense.
That's right. They want to help their jammer through while crushing the soul of the opposing jammer.
That's a great way of saying that. Avoid crushing the soul.
So we have headache jamming for the Heartless Heathers, and she's been awarded a lead jammer. That's 3 in a row for the Heartless Heathers.
Now, as you see, Super Six-Pack and Chestnuts instantly dropped back and picked off 2 of those blockers and got the jammer free. Well, that was Super Six-Pack. She was the pivot, so there's another star pass.
Unfortunately, a forearm penalty has been assessed on Hetty, so she'll be serving her time in the penalty box, and that's the PBR penalty box.
Yeah, that's right. Taddy Munster, she picked up Super Six-Pack, tapped her out of bounds in the apex, and made her go way back.
Taddy Munster and Knife are there waiting for her to come right up around. She manages to sneak around Taddy Munster with a big hit. Give it up for Taddy Munster.
That is one of those unfun things that happens in Derby unless you're the one passing it out.
Heartless Heather staying together in that front wall, keeping their eye on the jammer. And
Super
hit.
Six-Pack.
I know what that's like. Trust me, King.
Yeah. I've seen the video.
You and everyone else. Headache has returned to play, going head-to-head here with Super Six-Pack for the Betties.
I like how she glided in there hip first, tried to wedge herself in there, but got nowhere. But she has found the light of day. She's picked up 4 points on that pass.
Six-Pack still having trouble at turn 1. There has been a clockwise block assessed on a blocker for the Heathers on Knife, and so that actually allowed her the opportunity to step right on the inside line, picking up 4 points for the Breakneck Betties.
Nice hit to the outside. Breakneck Betties bringing back Headache. Headache had to fight her way, trying to fight her way through, but the jam comes to an end. She picks up 2 points on that pass.
And that's right. We got the Breakneck Betties holding at 12 points, and the Heartless Heathers at 23.
Irie Bell and Sammy Automatic once again.
And of course, with all these lovely referees around the track, they're also going to be assessing penalties on the skaters.
AK-47 automatic weapon with a star on her helmet.
She disagrees with the loveliness part, but you know. So when a penalty is assessed on a skater, they'll be serving 30 seconds in the penalty box.
Automatic weapon attacking that inside line. French Tickler and Bella Constrictor not letting her go. She has finally pushed her way through, and she's your lead jammer.
And this is the first lead jam for the Breakneck Betties so far this game.
And a penalty being assessed to Irie Bell. She is going to spend the next 30 seconds in the penalty box.
And Autumn manages to plow her way through that wall and puts up a big 5 points for the Breakneck Betties.
Nice tight wall being waited for. Offense comes.
The Betties go-go manages to push the pack forward on the inside line. Autumn had 1 more to beat, 5 more points for the Betties, putting them within 1 point of the Heartless Heathers.
I told you it was going to be a good game. Irie Bell served her time. She tried to tiptoe up that line, but she picked up a cut. She'll be spending another 30 seconds in the penalty box.
On just that moment, Automatic Weapon did pick up a back block penalty, so she'll now be serving 30 seconds in the penalty box. Or actually, we have a special scenario here as both jammers are in the penalty box. The Heartless Heathers jammer will serve her time, and as soon as she sits down, she just serves the same amount of time.
Now, the reason they do that, the roller derby is absolutely no fun without a jammer on the track. Irie Bell out there got lots of benefit from the Knife, who played great offense and got her jammer free.
And as a result of the lead jammer being sent to the penalty box, there's no lead jammer anymore, and this jam will go the full 2 minutes.
Irie Bell had 2 players left. They did great work recycling up. She pushed them out of play, and they had to let her go.
Autumn battling through that wall, manages to take off her star and hand it off to the pivot in the front of the pack.
Northern Lights Out got that star. She picked up 2 points, it looks like, on that pass. That was a great jam right there for the Betties. We got a 4-point game. They really capitalized on that penalty.
Right at the end of that jam, unfortunately, Irie Bell, wearing the star for the Heartless Heathers, did pick up a cut track penalty.
Ooh, there's another cut for her.
Not looking good. The Heathers do have a 4-point lead over the Betties, but the Betties will be starting off in a power jam here.
Well, as you know, in the game of roller derby, there are a couple of different penalties you can get. There are track penalties and hitting penalties, contact penalties, I should say.
Wow, and we have another penalty assessed on a jammer here. That's Sweet Jane.
And that looks like a blocking with the head,
yeah.
That's going to release Irie Bell. So basically, you can't block with the head. You can't hit directly to the back or below the knees. Can't hit anybody with your forearm. And you cannot enter the track in front of opposing players that have knocked you out of bounds.
Interesting technique here. So she could have had the opportunity to get lead jammer, but she took off her helmet cover. Looked like she was going to do a star pass, but sometimes that's a fake, a strategy, and it worked to her advantage. But there is no lead jammer, and this jam will also go the full 2 minutes.
Sweet Jane, she is out of there. Irie Bell in the corner, got dropped.
And that's Sweet Jane putting up 4 big ones for the Breakneck Betties. And, folks, we have a tie game.
Irie Bell's trying to fight her way through. One player left to beat. Oh, and Super Six-Pack got her in the corner.
And there's Sweet Jane, this time picking up the full 5 points for having lapped the opposing jammer.
And that's a lead change. Right now, Breakneck Betties at 33, Heartless Heathers 28.
Sweet Jane still working on the front 2 blockers. There has been a clockwise directional block assessed on Bella. So that's going to be 5 points here for Sweet Jane and the Breakneck Betties, who now pull up 10 points ahead of the Heartless Heathers.
We had a star pass in there. Knife has a star. She's trying to sneak in right now, and it looks like she's doing a great job with the sped-up pack.
Wow, this pack is so fast. The Heathers are running it. Luckily, Knife is so fast and so strong, she's able to overcome her own pack.
She did a fantastic turnaround on that inside, pick up those extra points. We've got a 4-point game. I'd like to thank Ron Tonkin Fiat, the largest selection of new and used autos in the Pacific Northwest. It's only a click away at tonkin.com.
And Coach Cosmo has called a timeout for the Heartless Heathers.
Well, Heartless Heathers came out really hot. This is a good timeout for them. Breakneck Betties have managed to climb their way back into this game. And like I said, it's a good time to rally the troops, get them back on the same page. Bridgetown Chiropractics, the official chiropractor of the Rose City Rollers from the beginning. That's Bridgetown Chiropractic. OHSU Sports Medicine is proud to be the official medicine care team of the Rose City Rollers. That's OHSU Sports Medicine. And this timeout has come to an end. We're going to see Jess in the box with a blue star on her helmet. And Northern Lights out with a checker star.
Pack advantage going to the Betties here. They'll start out with 4 full blockers.
It's kind of surprising how when you're missing just one player out there, how much can affect your strategy and what you're trying to do.
Placement of your wall, the setup, who's facing which way, and here we go. Northern Lights out hits that back Heather's wall real hard as just sneaks her way up to the red wall in front.
Up in the front, forearm being called. Looks like a low block being called. Jess in the box will be spinning the next 30 seconds in the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box.
And that's Northern Lights out with this power jam. 2 more to beat. They're out of play. They're more than 20 feet out in front of the pack, so that's Sassy's going to pick up an out-of-play penalty. But because Northern Lights out counter-blocked her out of play, she is also going to pick up a blocking out-of-play penalty, and that's very rare for a jammer.
I was a little shocked I just saw that. Jess in the box, she served her time, and she's out there bouncing around like a pinball.
She's got great agility and movement. You're going to see her do some spins here and sneak up that inside and outside line. But Ripley is all over her, and that's Megan Moffitt with some great offense, freeing her Jess in the box up to hit that red wall.
Spank was waiting for her. She could give her a nice big hit, and she's recycled back up to the front.
And again, Megan Moffitt chases Northern Lights out to the front of the pack and recycles her back into the rear.
Jess in the box finally found her way through that pack, and she's back around.
Northern Lights out sneaks around the outside.
Jess in the box, hot on her tail. She picked up 5 points for her effort.
And lots of movement in the pack. You see that the pack speed's pretty fast, and they're mixing it up. Betties appear to be trying to find somebody to have their jammer score a point.
Trying to pick somebody off, and it really is a foot race with the two jammers right now. They're just trying to get back around, but they're kind of neck and neck.
And there we go. The jam has expired. No points on that last pass, so we will stand. Heartless Heathers 41, Breakneck Betties up by 8 at 49 points.
Big brothers, big sister sports buddies. Rose City Rollers proud to be a sports buddy partner, encouraging young people to get out and get active. That's big brothers, big sister sports buddies. You know, we've seen a lot of action in the first 14 minutes of this game, 13 minutes of this game. Lots of big hits, some big penalties. It's going to be really interesting to see who can make it to the end of the game, either without enough penalties or without getting worn out.
Yeah, the story of this first quarter here has definitely been those jammer penalties. And here we go, lead jammer for the Breakneck Betties. It's Super Six-Pack.
And Screaming Beaver, she got caught on that inside by Ripley and taken out of bounds. That was a great move, though. Screaming Beaver came in hot, ran around to the outside of that corner, and is out.
Super Six-Pack manages to blow her way right through the middle, but in doing so, she's going to pick up a forearm penalty, and again, a power jam for Screamin' Beaver and the Heartless Heathers.
Screamin' Beaver, she got a nice big hit, stayed on her feet, and kept her momentum going. Got through for those 5 points. Oh, and Fonda Brawls picked her up, put her down.
And Ripley waiting in back there for Screamin' Beaver. Beaver picks up a lot of momentum and finds her way around that inside line. And she's going to put big 5 points up for the Heartless Heathers. And we now have our third lead change of the game.
Fonda Brawls out there right now, really messing stuff up for the other team. I'm liking her role and what she's become as a skater.
Got a fun little whip there from Knife, trying to get Beaver a little extra momentum.
Excellent plow stopping by Ripley, but Screamin' Beaver coming in so hot just pushed her right out of play.
Knife playing some offense out of the front of the pack, looking to deliver some points here to Beaver. But the Betties remain strong. They're still walled up in the rear of the pack, making a real hard go of it for Screamin' Beaver.
Great job there in the pack, keeping that jammer in. Oh.
Wow.
Oh. Super Six-Pack cannot believe the call on the track. But, you know, when two players collide like that, all kinds of things can happen. Like the Bike Punk, locally printed, eco-friendly stickers, signs, and designs. Visit bikepunk.com. Headache on the line in this power jam. Excellent. That was a great waterfall sausage move right there. They came in, they took everybody off that inside line and got their jammer free.
Heathers line up to play some offense for Headache, battling up her way on the inside line, and the Heathers now playing a passive-aggressive style offense.
Fringe Tickler and that was China Doll Assassin. They came in and hit that wall with the offense and then stopped immediately. Fringe Tickler out there right now calling some orders out.
And Hetty working her way up against Chestnuts. Automatic weapon there for a little extra stability, but Sassy doing everything she can to play some offense. They're not quite ready. Super Six-Pack flies in around the outside.
Oh, and Fringe Tickler got her, and she stayed in bounds. What fantastic foot speed and awareness.
The Heathers reforming at the front of the pack. Super Six-Pack not ready for it, but here we go. A Headache picks up 5 more points for the Heartless Heathers as they begin to pull away.
Smalls picking up a back block. She's going to be spending the next 30 seconds in the penalty box. Oh, and a back block being called on Headache. Actually, he's...
Just kidding.
He waved her back on, and then we will see what happens here.
Looks like the jam ref doing a little clarification with Headache here and allowing her to return to the track.
All right, I like that. That's good. That's good heads-up play. She was, I think, right on the cusp of being out of play, where she could have legally injured. He called her back on. He told her to come back on the track. So 5 points being picked up.
That was the
there.
right thing to do.
I think
Sometimes
so.
refs make a mistake. They communicate during the jam, and they make it right.
Yeah, I believe there's going to be a Betties timeout, and there is on the track. While we go into this timeout, I'd like to thank New Belgian Brewing, Fat Tire Ale, and Ranger IPA. You can grab one from concessions on most nights. That's New Belgian Brewing.
And a special thank you to Left Turn Clothing, sponsor of the High Rollers and the travel team Wheels of Justice. Left Turn Clothing, where fashion meets function and fun. Megan Moffitt really killed it in that last jam, and you could check her out and all her teammates from the Wheels of Justice on Friday, March 6th, right here at Oaks Park Hangar, as your new 2015 Wheels of Justice divide up white versus purple and duke it out as they introduce themselves.
So, Ophelia, I got to ask, which color are you wearing that night?
I don't know if I'm allowed to say yet.
Okay, all right. I just got to know which color I'm rooting for. So
I think you should probably wear a really nice white suit if I put my money on it.
You know I've got one.
I bet you do.
Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun. All right, on the track. Looks like Jess in the box. She's going to be out there with the blue star on her helmet. And I do believe
Sweet Jane.
Sweet Jane was hiding behind her from my point of view.
The PBR penalty box is all clear. We have all 8 blockers on the track. Breakneck Betties in the red in the rear of the pack. Braced there by Ripley.
Sweet Jane going outside to in, and Jess in the box. She goes inside to out, and she's your lead jammer.
She really exploded out of the pack. That's going to be the 5th lead jam for the Heartless Heathers compared to the Breakneck Betties' 3 lead jams.
Jess in the box right now trying to fight her way through. Fantastic red defense being laid down out there. Even when the offense comes, they're not having any part of it.
Taddy Munster and Knife doing everything they can to hold back Sweet Jane. She has so much forward momentum, hangs on to that jammer star, and completes her initial pass.
And around the outside. It looks like there was a whistle out there and a cut being called on the track. Looks like she stepped out of bounds at the top of the apex, and the outside official caught it.
And that's exactly why we have outside pack refs. Really hard to see everything all the time.
I can't believe the few refs that we have out there can see all 10 players as they go. No pack being called. They've got a letter free. 5 points being picked up by Sweet Jane.
And that was great restraint by Taddy Munster. It's so easy to just want to kill the shiny thing. She manages to let her go before earning an out-of-play penalty. And we have a star pass that's handed over to Ripley for the Breakneck Betties. And she's going head-to-head with Taddy Munster and Knife. But I feel like I've been saying their name every jam they're out there.
Well, they are 2 of the icons on that team. They are fantastic, both on the track and off the track.
Frank and Skate as their first bridge, communicating to them how much time and space they have. And just in the box, through again, 5 more points for the Heartless Heathers to round out that jam.
Joe's Burgers. 4 locations, awesome burgers, and the official feeders of the Rose City Rollers. That's Joe's Burgers. And they're really good people who own that place. Joe's a great guy.
The score of 69 to 86, 9.5 minutes remaining in this first period. Plenty of time to see how this shakes out.
Irie Bell, second time on the line for her tonight. She comes in hot, hits a wall, and is sent to the penalty box once again.
And here we go. That's Northern Lights Out, lead jammer in a power jam for the Breakneck Betties.
Offense comes from the outside. Super Six-Pack picked up a bunch of people. She's doing a great job out there.
And that's Megan Moffitt pulls her right on back. And that's going to be a cut track penalty for Northern Lights Out. If I can count correctly, we've had 5 power jams per team tonight. That's a lot.
That is a lot. Irie Bell served her time. She just juked Chestnuts out of her skates. And she comes up in hard in there. She's pounding everybody and getting pounded back. Super six-pack not having any part of it. And Northern Lights Out. Jumps through the middle, picks up 4 points for her effort.
Betty's setting up in the front of the pack. Managed to just stomp on Irie yet again.
And we have that's a great sign. Oh, you know, every time I see an injury, it kind of stops my heart for just a few minutes. I know it's a full contact sport. I know it happens, but never something you want to see.
You're always insured, but you're never that insured.
It
happens. It affects you. It affects your team, and I'm sure the Heartless Heathers will be playing their heart out.
Yep. Well, on the track at this time, we're going to see Screamin' Beaver for the Heartless Heathers in the jammer roll. Screamin' Beaver, she is quickly through the pack. She's your lead jammer.
Fonda Brawl still trying to work her way around Taddy Munster at the front of the pack. The Betties brace in the rear as they await Screamin' Beaver.
Wow.
Beaver just splits them right up.
Fonda Brawl, she finally found her way out of the pack. The pack right now, everyone's fighting for position. Screamin' Beaver, though, calls it off.
Screamin' Beaver just casually takes a look over at Coach Cosmo, calls that one off when she was right and ready. And that's going to take it to 78. Breakneck Betties, 90 for the Heathers with 7.5 minutes remaining in play in the first period.
This is a really close game during that last little timeout.
Just like I was saying it would be.
It's on the record right there. She said it was going to be.
My favorite and yours, Automatic Weapon, is now jamming for the Breakneck Betties.
And Headache getting taken out of bounds by this fantastic wall of red. Came right back in, still fighting her way through.
Automatic Weapon, normally a big, mean blocker, stepping up to where the jammers started tonight for the Breakneck Betties, as they have a few injured skaters tonight in Liquor and Split and much mayhem.
Headache worked her way back around, comes in heavy and hard, taking out Ripley, which is no easy task.
No, that's certainly not easy. Autumn sees the inside line, and she makes it clear, completing her initial pass. And as you see, she's got her eye all over Headache, wants to stay in front, because once Headache passes her, that's an extra point.
Yep. Well,
Autumn does a great job of protecting her point there.
That's a great work there. Nice work by Headache. She pushed the score up to 95. Breakneck Betties now at 82. Kind Bar, snack like there's no tomorrow. Get some Kind snacks. And by the way, we just had some of those. They are fantastic. Check them out down below.
You just ate those for dinner.
That was my dinner.
Yep.
They were kind of good.
See what you did there. All right. We have a 13-point game. Right out the front there is Jess in the box for the Heartless Heathers.
Great work by the Betties. They enveloped right around the defense of the Heathers and got their jammer out. Northern Lights Out is also free.
And Jess thrusts herself upon that front wall of red and puts a few points up and calls that one off.
Those points were courtesy of Taddy Munster. She jumped out there, took a huge hit on that line, opened things up and got her jammer out. When quality counts, call Bridgetown Automotive. Support Rose City Rollers while taking great care of your car.
Screamin' Beaver, blue number 10, pushing her way right on through that red wall. Picks up a quick lead jammer status.
Nice tight wall in there. Everything's nice and slow.
As much as the Betties want to play offense for their jammer who's not yet been able to escape the pack, got to get ready here for Screamin' Beaver and play some defense.
Sweet Jane, she stuck back there between a whole bunch of blue. She faked like she was going to pass it. Everybody went for the pivot, and there she's off.
That's a great move when lead jam has already been assessed. It's a moment of desperation. It's a great fake strategy.
You know, that's something I've seen only in the last couple of years where maybe last season and this season, where someone takes off that cap and fakes like they're going to do something with it and then slaps it back on and takes off.
Well, as the rules get more and more defined and developed in the WFTDA, we have to get smarter about how we take advantage of them.
Yeah, and as a blocker, that's one of your primary goals. Keep your eye on the jammer at all times. When they whip that star off, where'd that jammer go?
Exactly. Heathers have pulled out a little bit more here, but Northern Lights Out had a good night so far for the Breakneck Betties. She's got one more to beat out front.
Another nice big hit by Super Six-Pack. She has really elevated her game for tonight. Not that she doesn't normally play hard, but holy smoke, she's hitting all over the place.
Lights Out, awarded lead jammer, gives a hard go against Hattie Mustard. And right around the outside, that's 5 big ones.
Northern Lights Out looking great. Headaches also out of the pack, but she's not your lead jammer.
Lots of talking on the track, discussing when they should call that one off. It is finally called off.
Voodoo Donuts, the magic is in the hole, and proud sponsor of the Rose City Rollers and the Wheels of Justice. That's Voodoo Donuts.
Yummy.
Yes, it is. Cars to Go. Meet the future of car sharing. Sign up today at carstogo.com.
I think they're hanging out outside.
They are. You can check them out. Halftime's coming within 3 minutes. It's a great time to go see Cars to Go.
Jess in the box, jamming again for the Heartless Heathers. She's having a great night. And Sweet Jane as well, giving it another go-around for the Breakneck Betties.
And Jess in the box found the light of day on that inside line. She's your lead jammer.
It was like the seas parted for her, and she just pew, took it.
Great work by the Betties. Perfect little waterfall to open that up.
And that's the second time Sweet Jane has done that helmet pass that seems to be working.
Yeah.
The fake pass. And Jess in the box with great awareness manages to call that one off, put up 4 more points, and not allowing the Breakneck Betties to score again.
PDX Pipeline, your online source of Portland music, arts, and events happening. That's PDX Pipeline. Kelly Brown likes roller derby, and you can like Kelly Brown by going to Kelly Brown Debt Relief.
Referees having a little powwow between jams here. Automatic weapon jamming again for the team in red.
Screaming Beaver up against that heavy-duty red defense. Breakneck Betty's taking her out at the top of the key. Oh, how did Screaming Beaver stay in bounds? Super Six-Pack with a huge hit.
Automatic weapon still pushing up front. The pack got a little spread out there. There was a penalty assessed on a Heartless Heather, but she's still... And there we go. A penalty, a cutting the track penalty has been assessed on automatic weapon. That's going to be the 6th power jam for the Heartless Heathers tonight.
That was Knife. Knife ran back and caught her just as she was stepping inbounds.
And Beaver finally picking up lead jammer after 40 seconds.
And a full lap. Here comes the offense. Oh, and Knife ended up on her tail trying to take out Spank.
Beaver recycles herself to the rear of the pack, looks for that outside lane. Skating them like cones, trying to get around the last blocker, and Deluxe.
Oh.
Deluxe does it, but does get a blocking out of play penalty.
You got to know how far out you are if you're going to make that hit.
And that jam gets called off just before automatic weapon. We'll hit that pack. That's 5 more for the Heartless Heathers, pulling them up to 113 points.
Oaks Amusement Park, home of the Rose City Rollers, and place to purchase your gear. That's Oaks Amusement Park. Buffalo Gap Saloon and Eatery, John Landing favorite eatery and saloon. That's Buffalo Gap Saloon and Eatery.
And that whistle means that it's time for halftime.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, why don't you rest your weary ears of me and Ophelia Mellons. We'll be back in 10 minutes to get this second half underway. In the peace and quiet of either your home or here in the hangar. But never fear, me and Ophelia Mellons are back.
Hooray! And as we begin the second period, you know, I'm looking at the stats from the first half, and they're pretty even. And the Heartless Heathers built up some momentum, starting to pull away a little bit, but by no means is this out of the hands of the Breakneck Betties. In the first period, the Heartless Heathers picked up 20 penalties, but that's just compared to 21 penalties for the Breakneck Betties. And as well as the lead jammers, it's definitely in the Heartless Heathers' favor, but not by much. And the key to the second half is definitely going to be to skate clean, keep those jammers on the track.
That's right. 25 points is nothing but a really good power jam.
A really good one. And here we go. That's lights out jamming for the Breakneck Betties. They're down one in the pack, so she's playing with a little bit of a defensive head right now.
Jess in the box right now, bouncing all over the place, trying to find a way to get through. But so far, she's not getting very far, very fast.
Both jammers just in the washing machine of defense for the Heathers and the Betties. And that's Chestnuts really controlling the Breakneck Betties in the rear of the pack. I do hear a penalty being assessed, but I'm just not sure who it's on. Oh, a forearm on Ripley.
That's not what I expected. Jess in the box up against her last line of defense, which is Chestnuts. But if you're going to have a last line,
it's Chestnuts.
It's Chestnuts.
Again, Nuts buys enough time, and that's Northern Lights Out, lead jammer for the Breakneck Betties.
And the Heathers offense came into play, and they took one big swipe at the red team of red and got Jess in the box out.
Really came to a boil there after about 50 seconds. And Lights Out hears her coach and calls that one off before any points can be scored by the Heathers. So you'd rather prevent them from scoring than putting up one or two of your own. That's just good strategy.
Yeah, you want to keep it a nice even keel there. Speaking of even keel, Nightlight Lounge, Rose City Rollers' favorite Clinton Street bar and the only place to get Rose City Rollers tickets in town. That's the Nightlight Lounge.
So no points being scored in that first jam. Still 113-87. Heather is in the lead. New jammer for the Breakneck Betties, IV Card Attack. Giving a shot to the star here. And she's facing a really intense four-wall of the Heartless Heathers up front in blue.
Speaking of intense walls, the Betties right now beating around Smalls. Super six-pack, Chestnuts, and Spanks right now laying it down, and Ripley's joined the fun. She's bridging right now.
And that's Knife with the big force out there on Card Attack.
Well, we've said it before. Defense is what this game is all about. If you've got a great defensive team, you can rule the game.
We're 40 seconds into this jam. Still no lead jam has been assessed. Ivy looks like she's starting to make a break for it. She does it. Lead jammer again to the Breakneck Betties.
The Knife was hot on her wheels there, and Kush could not catch up.
Small's still having a hard time. She's very agile, but she's looking for some offensive help from her skaters.
IV Cardio Attack. She is getting batted around on that inside, but finally used her own defensive wall to get around everybody and get through, picking up 5 more points.
Smalls does everything she can to balance and stay in balance, but she does end up taking a step. The Betties are doing such an awesome job of recycling. I bet Smalls has got to be exhausted, but she's really just giving it everything she's got.
The defense being played out there, both of these teams right now, just incredible. Mace Ventura taking out IV Cardio Attack, but finally Cardio Attack is through, picking up 5 more points.
It's a big jam for Ivy and the Breakneck Betties, as Smalls has not yet completed her initial pass. As this jam winds down, that's a big hit from Chestnuts. I have been there. That's not a place you want to go, King.
No, she just said have a seat. We'd like to thank some of our sponsors we have here. First off, the Portland Mercury, Portland Vital Signs, City Graphics, and Kay's Bar. So when I think of having a seat, Kay's Bar is a great place to have a seat.
I think I'm headed there tonight. You buy me a drink or what? That's Breakneck Betties now with 99 points, about to break that century mark, and Heartless Heathers 113 for those of you at home.
14-point game. Automatic weapon right now. The star on her helmet engages that blue wall.
And that's Heady. That's Headache for the Heartless Heathers lead jammer, their first one of the half.
Moffitt taking out the jammer. She's got to start again.
Oh, tough call. Okay, so it looked like initially they were going to call a cut track penalty and shook it off, but the head ref says, no, that was pretty much a cut track penalty. So
she was trying to peel that star off and pass it off.
But the second jammer also going to the penalty box. So automatic weapon only having to serve until the second jammer is seated, and the second jammer only having to serve the same amount of time as the first jammer.
Ripley out there doing some directions, and they're waiting for Headache when she gets there. Headache trying to fight her way around the outside. I love the pyramid defense being played.
And again, strong defense is the story right now. Autumn just pushing as hard as she can against that front wall of blue.
And in the back, Headache doing the same thing. Just bearing down and pushing as hard as she can and barely getting any ground.
Bella Constrictor doing a great job up front, staying connected with all her forward-facing blockers.
Autumn has had enough. She passed it off to Sweet Jane. Ripley, last line of defense. She picks up Headache. Knocks her out of bounds twice, almost 3 times, but Headache manages to stay in bounds, picks up 5 points.
And Ripley with the great restraint to not hit her out that last time. She would have definitely earned a penalty on that pass. Hetty now lapping. The star was passed to Sweet Jane, so she is now the jammer. And Hetty just doing a number up against Fonda Brawls. And Ripley with the force out. And she's going to put up 4 more points for the Breakneck Betties.
And this jam comes to an end.
The Heartless Heathers, excuse me. The Heartless Heathers put up 4 more points.
McDonald Miller Facility Solution, proud sponsor of the Rose City Rollers. Hope Baraka Realtor, helping Portlanders buy and sell their dream houses. Up front right there, Screaming Beaver trying to push through that wall. She's got 1 line left to beat. But
and
Northern
there we go.
Lights out.
Lead jammer goes to Northern Lights out. Just dominating the front of the pack. Here's Chestnuts going up against Screaming Beaver. So aggressive, but they're just out of play. The pack was not reformed quick enough, and the pivot for the Breakneck Betties is going to pick up a blocking out of play call as Beaver completes her initial pass.
Looks like at the end, I'm not sure what Super Six Pack might have said or what she might have done, but I think she just earned another 30 seconds for something. Well, speaking of something extra, Black Cat Plumbing. Black Cat Plumbing is your local neighborhood plumbing company and a proud sponsor of the Rose City Rollers since 2009.
Breakneck Betties are going to be starting this jam with 2 blockers in the penalty box.
Huge
disadvantage, right? Except they have Chestnuts and Ripley blocking. Not too much of a disadvantage there.
Well,
but just in the box, jukes around Ripley, but Chestnuts is there, and Ripley is again just spun around to support Chestnuts.
Sweet Jane right now in the back, really trying to work her way through, trying to find a hole. Excellent wall of blue, though, and they're bridging out China Doll Assassin.
Just takes a big hit, rolls out of it into the center of the track, and tries again up here against Ripley and Chestnuts.
Bella Constrictor taking out Sweet Jane, and she's got to go to the back of the pack.
Lead jammer going to just in the box of the Heartless Heathers. 45 seconds into this jam.
Just in the box trying to sneak around Ripley, and she just got leveled.
Ripley does earn herself a clockwise blocking penalty, though.
Sometimes when you do things like that, it's worth it.
And fun.
And fun. Ladies and gentlemen, Ophelia Millens.
This ain't my first rodeo.
Okay. Timothy Murray Photography. Visit timothymurrayphotography.com for classic black and white film derby images.
Fancy.
Eco Construction. They're one of our new folks here. Friendly people at Eco Construction love custom home building, remodels, and roller derby.
Coming into this jam, a little over 20 minutes remaining in this game, we have what we call a micro pack. 2 blockers apiece down in the penalty box.
It's a wee pack.
It is a wee pack. A lot of times you're going to see a jammer start off to play a little defense, and in this case, Megan Moffitt, a.k.a. French Tickler, wearing the star just for funsies.
Just plays for the heck of it.
Defense, gets lead jammer here for the Heartless Heathers.
Everybody should get a term jamming. Northern Lights out. She's out also.
Wow, huge hit by French Tickler, a.k.a. Megan Moffitt. Blows up that last point and puts up 4 points for the Heartless Heathers.
There's a lot going on there. Secret Aardvark. Viva la Aardvark.
Yum. Best hot sauce in all the land.
X-Ray loves Derby. Find X-Ray at 107.1 FM. No.
We have an official review initiated by Coach Determinator of the Breakneck Betties.
Well, you know what who our official timeouts are for, well, are sponsored by, I should say. Porque No. Amazing tacos with 2 locations on Mississippi and Hawthorne. That's Porque No.
So this would be a taco timeout? Is that what you're saying?
You might be able to say that.
I love taco timeouts. So far, we're just 6 jams into the second half. 3 lead jams apiece for each team. So we're going 50-50. Breakneck Betties finally break that century mark. Heartless Heathers started to lose some of their momentum, and they push forward again. Now they're up by 28 points with 20 minutes left in this game.
But it wasn't, I mean, at halftime, it really was just about 28 points. I think it was 25 at halftime. They really haven't gained any ground. Heathers are 3 points up now from where they were at halftime. Betties have come out swinging and swinging hard. They do have 2 players right now sitting in the penalty box, and as you said at halftime, penalties, those who can play the cleaner game are going to be the reap the benefits of this game.
Unfortunately, we don't have the information to find out what the official review is or was or what it might be, but it doesn't look like anything changed. So we still have 2 blockers in the box for the Breakneck Betties. Heartless Heathers will start this out 4 strong for Headache, wearing the star in blue.
They just wanted to review that tacos were awesome. And Ivy Cardi attack. She's your lead jammer. Determinator jumping up and down on the sideline. He's very happy with that. Headache, she finally found her way through, and she's out of the pack.
Heather's doing a great job on defense on Ivy. She's going to call that one off. Headache may have picked up a point. She did not. So timely call off by Ivy, preventing a score from the Heartless Heathers.
Headache really picked him up and put him down to get herself around that track. Laurelhurst Theater and Pub, the best modern cinema, independent art, and classic films of Portland's movie lovers.
Megan Moffitt wearing the star yet again for the Heartless Heathers. I love this story, and she's going to be going up against Northern Lights Out for the Betties. And the Betties starting in the rear of the pack. Northern Lights Out playing a little defense, but the pack was not defined, and an out-of-play call has been assessed on Ripley as French Tickler picks up lead jammer status.
You know, French Tickler is such a strong lady, man. When she puts on that star and just bears down on that wall, pushed her way through, and that's a grand slam. Right now, penalties playing a part in this grand slam as there's only a couple blockers out there for the Breakneck Betties.
And just as the Betties are trying, you know, the only remaining blocker on the track at this moment is Automatic Weapon, and she's really looking to play some offense. Unfortunately, French Tickler, Megan Moffitt able to just slice right through and pick up 5 more.
Deluxe, she just took out a couple blockers trying to get her jammer through, but they were quick to recover.
And a back block call is going to be assessed here on French Tickler. She's not happy about it, but the outside pack ref assessed that penalty right there in turn 1. So this is going to be a power jam for the Breakneck Betties.
Knife right now bridging, trying to hold everybody in there. Very short power jam. I have a feeling she just got way back on, but I was looking the other way.
The pack gets really stretched out here. The star has been handed off to Pivot Automatic Weapon. And French Tickler no longer lead jammer because she had served a penalty in the penalty box. So this is going to go the full 2 minutes. Everybody's exhausted. This is when it gets really exciting, King.
You know, I think right there at the end of that jam, 3 points got picked up, and it looks like Ripley just picked up her 7th. That is really going to play into the defense, and they're going to have to make some adjustments here for the Betties.
Rut-row.
Yeah, 7 penalties. That seemed a little quick, but, that's the way it is. Wired Eye Repair, your mom's favorite smartphone, tablet, and repair since 2010. If you're watching us at home, you're watching on Blaze Streaming Media.
And we have an official timeout being assessed by Kieran Duncan.
What did I say? Who is our official timeout? Brought to you by
Taco timeout.
Porque no. Amazing tacos in 2 locations on Mississippi and Hawthorne. Now that we've said tacos twice in a row, I am starving.
Starving. Absolutely famished. Hey, King.
Yes?
What do you think they're talking about?
Stuff.
What kind of stuff?
Well, when a man and a woman sometimes spend a little bit alone time together.
I'm going to stop you right there.
Well, what they talk about is stats and scores and penalties. That's what they do when they spend a little time alone together.
And we got the Heathers initiating some sort of mating call, potentially some sort of ritual.
It's been a kind of tribal thing around here for quite some time.
Yeah.
Lining up on that Ron Tonkin Fiat line, waiting for things to happen. You are going to see, it looks like Jess in the box out there with the blue star on her helmet. And I believe that's Ivy Cardi Attack once again. She's had quite a nice little breakout night for herself.
Speaking of IVs, OHSU Sports Medicine is proud to be the official medical care team of the Rose City Rollers.
It seems like we keep starting these jams like this, but right now there's another 2 players in that Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box. For the Breakneck Betties, they're going to have another depleted squad.
They choose to put out Chestnuts and Deluxe, 2 very powerful blockers, and they're doing a clinic here on Jess, trying to find that inside and sneaks right by Deluxe, and that's lead jam going to the Heartless Heathers.
Ivy Cardi Attack still stuck in that penalty box. Oh, she tiptoes up the line.
I love this.
Yeah, use of toe stops that is incredible.
Jess in the box attacks that rear wall, but Deluxe in the right place at the right time manages to push her out. That's no points for the Breakneck Betties and 4 for the Heartless Heathers.
Shebop, an female-friendly sex toy boutique in Portland, Oregon. That's Shebop.
You might have let me announce that one, King.
I thought my silky smooth voice might make it a little more appealing to females around the Blaze Streaming Media earshot of myself.
And Coach Determinator initiating his second half official review here, I believe. Or maybe, was that in the first half? Did he retain his official review? We don't know anything. They just give us microphones.
Yeah. We just look pretty on the mic. Well, while we're talking about it, sock it to me. Be awesome. Wear awesome at sockittome.com. While we're taking a Breakneck Body timeout, I'd also like to give a couple shout-outs to their fitness folks. They have CrossFit Excellence, helping the Betties continue to be breaknecks and dreams. Moreland Vision Source, the Moreland Vision Source helping the Betties focus on the game since 2011. Kenneth Hart Agency, it's your dream is out there. You can get it protected through Kenneth Hart Agency. And Kells Olympian.
I'd like to welcome and invite you and remind you again about the Wheels of Justice Showcase on Friday, March 6th, right here at the hangar, and immediately following that debut is the Wheels of Justice Heroes Ball and After Party at the Funhouse Lounge.
Wow, this is quite the official review we got going here. I believe both the coaches are happy, and we're going to get this action underway. Everybody still seems to be on the track. I think they just want some clarification is more or less what it looks like.
I love clarifications. And we're off yet again, now jamming for the Breakneck Betties. That's Northern Lights Out, but Screaming Beaver screams right out the front of that pack and is lead jammer for the Heartless Heathers.
She did the most fancy little step around on that outside line, and there she goes again. She engages that wall, jumps right on through it, picks up 5 points on a grand slam.
Yeehaw! And that's Megan Moffitt giving Northern Lights Out a ride right back to that jammer line.
Automatic weapon. She had something to say about it. Gave a big old hit on Screaming Beaver. Screaming Beaver still trying to fight her way through. Oh, great moves there. 5 more points, Screaming Beaver.
Beaver having a great night here for the Heartless Heathers. Definitely a major contributor to their 157 points.
Screaming Beaver coming in once again. Automatic weapon caught a piece of her mid, knocked her down, but she stayed in bounds and picks up 5 more points.
Heartless Heathers did a great job of, again, recycling to the front of the pack.
We have a star pass. Chestnut's got it. She's out front and pushed her way through.
She really just blew through the front of the pack. She don't have time for that kind of business. 4 more points on the board for the Heartless Heathers. That's going to pull them up to 166.
I believe that was Automatic Weapon picking up a 7th penalty also. She is done for the game. Once again, in the game of roller derby, you can only get 7, and you're finished for the night. We'd like to thank Big Brothers Big Sister Sports Buddies for encouraging young people to get out and get active. That's Big Brothers Big Sister Sports Buddies.
I love buddies, and I love sports.
On the Tonkin Jammer line.
Derby has commenced. A little bit of a delay there. You hear so many whistles in roller derby, it's so easy to just space out.
IV cardi attack right now behind a wall of blue.
Some sweet moves here by Knife, now wearing the jammer star. They hand it to her all the time, but she's not usually the jammer.
Mace Ventura, I believe, picked up a penalty there, and she'll be spending 30 seconds in the penalty box.
Knife's going to pick up a quick 4 points here, and as the Heathers pull away, you know, looking at my stats, they have gotten lead jammer the last 4 in a row.
Wow. Bike Punk, locally printed eco-friendly stickers, signs, and designs. Visit bikepunk.com. Joe's Burgers, 4 locations, awesome burgers, and the official feeders of the Rose City Rollers. That's Joe's Burgers. 3-on-3 pack out there. Headache in the back, but she glided right on through. She's your lead jammer.
Sweet Jane wearing the star here for the Breakneck Betties. She beats Frankenskate around the outside, and Taddy Munster with a big forced out attempt. She manages to shake that off, and Sweet Jane has completed her initial pass.
I do not know how she stayed in bounds. That was a great hit by Taddy Munster. This jam comes to an end after 4 more points. Being picked up by Headache.
Heather's really just trying to control the clock here. Less than 13 minutes remaining in this game. Their focus is just staying in control, hitting it, quitting it, and controlling the time.
Kind, a brand of all-natural whole nut and fruit bars made from ingredients you can pronounce and see. That's Kind bars.
Whole nuts. 1 blocker down apiece in the PBR penalty box. Now jamming for the Breakneck Betties is IV Cart Attack.
She's been doing a great job with the star tonight.
But there you go. Jess just does this nice little lateral skip through the inside line. She's a lead jammer. But not far behind her is IV for the Breakneck Betties.
Oh, Jess in the Bucks. Wow, she comes in so hot, calling it off.
0-0 on that jam.
Well, she had to get in there and try and pick up some points, but they've got this lead. They don't want to lose any points at this point. I said point a lot, didn't I? Well, to get to the point, Voodoo Donuts, the magic is in the hole, or point. Proud sponsor of the Rose City Rollers and the Wheels of Justice, that's Voodoo Donuts.
Another on-track appearance by Coach Determinator with the lovely smile, always trying to make his point and stay involved and keep those refs on their toes.
Frankenskate got the star on for the Heartless Heathers. That red wall is there waiting for her.
Chestnuts holding down that inside line. A great communicator for the Breakneck Betties. Also simultaneously playing offense for Sweet Jane. And it works. But Megan Moffitt with the force out. She's within play, doesn't get a penalty, and manages to suck that jammer right back in, forcing the call off here. Great
like
move
that.
by
She
French
absolutely forced that call off there. Bridgetown Automotive. When quality counts, call Bridgetown Automotive and support the Rose City Rollers while getting your car fixed. That's Bridgetown Automotive.
You know what's really special about Rose City are these jam refs with their beautiful sashes, and don't they look lovely?
Actually, I kind of think they look Klingon. Majka Traknach.
4 strong apiece. Right around the outside. Great move by Headache. Forces Go-Go out on the outside. And she's going to meet Knife up front. Knife with a beautiful, perfect hit. Manages to pull her way back.
Knife so quick on her feet. When she wants to turn around and run backwards, she is gone.
Hetty still pushing her way out forward. Manages to scoot right around Deluxe. And that's going to be a lead jammer for Headache and the Heartless Heathers.
Carry go round, still stuck in that pack. That wall of blue really giving her a hard time. Super six-pack coming up front, trying to help out just a little bit, but instead she's got a box-in Headache.
Hetty really thought she was going to have an inside line available, and again, the defense of the Breakneck Betties just prevents her from doing that.
Northern Lights out, picks up a penalty, and she's headed to the penalty box.
Big hit there at the end of the line, managing to just really push Headache out of the way of scoring points there. That was a great hit.
Super six-pack's on fire tonight.
Woo!
She's been hitting everybody. Nothing's light for her.
Great move. Great move here by Headache. Manages to sneak around again on turn 2.
Yeah,
5 more points.
She still got punished on her way out. Like I said, Super six-pack's got a fire underneath of her tonight.
Go-Go looking for her teammates for some offensive help. Got to let her go. Headache does, again, put up 5 more points for the Heartless Heathers.
It almost looked like she was going to start blocking out there. Nice clumped pack. Northern Lights out gets this jammer cap.
Great teamwork here by the girls in blue. That was Bella Constrictor with the force out. She herself stepped out, but Knife was there to run back and make sure the jammer had to recycle.
Well, Super six-pack hitting one more time. She is called on that penalty, and she's headed out.
And at the end of the jam, that's 3 more points for the Heathers as they begin to really pull away and control this game.
OHSU Sports Medicine for immediate care for the Rose City Rollers athletes or for your sports medicine hotline. Call 503-494-4000.
Hold on, give me one more.
On the line, Ivy Cardi Attack. She's jamming again for the Breakneck Betties.
And there she goes, screaming Beaver. No surprise here, lead jammer for the Heartless Heathers.
That back drops the offense. Spank Night now trying to open things up.
And she's through 5 more in the sky for Screamin' Beaver, having a hell of a night.
Screamin' Beaver so quickly to get through. It's almost like she caught everybody looking the other way.
Fonda Brawls has a hard time of it again in the front of the pack. Boy, the Heartless Heathers defense is so locked in right now. French Tickler there again with teammate Taddy Munster.
Breakneck Betties finally slow her down, but Screamin' Beaver just continues to hit the wall. 5 more points being picked up for the Heartless Heathers.
And again, there is Taddy Munster with the big hit. She steps out. Teammates are there again to set up a wall. They start to pull away and just destroy the pack.
Cardiac
But they
attack comes right
reform
back
quickly.
in. Yeah, cardiac attack kept coming back in. Finally, they brought her back behind the pack. Ivy on that inside line. She did not go out, and but she has not gotten around.
And there she goes. That's Deluxe now holding the star for the Breakneck Betties. I'm sure she's happy to escape the wrath of the girls in blue.
Well, that was a great play, and what it did was it forced the call off. Screaming Beaver finally had to tap out after picking up 2 more points. Once again, I'd like to thank Ron Tonkin. He's got the largest selection of new and used autos in the Pacific Northwest. He's one click away at Ron Tonkin, or excuse me, just Tonkin.com.
Who's Ron?
He's the owner.
He's the Tonkin?
He's
the Tonkin of
icon.
Tonkin?
He's the Tonkin on the Tonkin.
What are you Tonkin about?
We
Thanks,
have another
Ron Tonkin.
timeout on the track. The Breakneck Betties want to try and make one last push with 6.5 minutes left in this game. And why we want to... Also want to thank Bridgetown Chiropractic, the official chiropractor of the Rose City Rollers since the beginning. That's Bridgetown Chiropractic. This timeout comes to an end. Heather's already out there. Jess in the box. Possibly some ballet. Some spinning.
Backflip.
Backflip, yes. She's not listening to us, as she shouldn't.
No, she shouldn't.
Sweet Jane's going to accompany her on that line with a checkered star on her helmet.
Good news here for the Breakneck Betties is they're going to start with a 4-3 pack advantage.
Betty's right now doing a great job defensively holding Jess in the box.
So a high block being assessed here on Chestnuts.
Chestnuts headed to the penalty box. And Jess in the box is out.
Sweet Jane pushing forward on Frankenskate. Bella Constrictor now there also as that pack starts to get a little bit stretched out.
Spank also going to the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box, and she'll be spinning the next 30 seconds of her life.
Sweet Jane makes it out. Big hit here by Jess in the box. And she's going to try and pull her back and do what we lovingly call eat the baby. And
wow.
she does it. That was just total advanced strategy. Great awareness by Jess in the box there.
That has got to be one of the most frustrating things is for a jammer to get iced like that, finally get out, and then get knocked back in.
Jess in the box decides she's been enough of a baller for the time being and hands that helmet cover right on over to Knife.
Knife gliding in. Wow!
Manages to turn her body and then shuffle, take a hit to the face, and still continue skating. We have a little bit of confusion here. Jam ref.
She is just such an incredible player when she's skating fast.
I'm not sure that pass was legal.
Oh.
So that didn't count, and so she had to hand the helmet cover right back on to Jess in the box.
That was interesting.
She might have thrown it.
Well, what happens was she thought she was the pivot. She took the cap.
She's not the pivot.
She's not the pivot.
That's awesome.
Bella
hey,
Constrictor. Yeah,
hey,
Bella
Chestnuts
Constrictor.
now has the star cover for the Breakneck Betties. Decides, you know what, I'm just going to jump the apex. It puts 5 points up for the Breakneck Betties in a jam full of confusion.
That was a great, and what was great is the refs out there on the track were not fooled by the pass.
No, they weren't. And so you see that Knife is now serving a penalty for skating out of play.
Right.
She left the pack and failed to return to form the pack because we thought she was just being an awesome jammer.
Nope. That's all right,
Heading into this jam here.
Fonda Brawls out there first time, I think, tonight with a star on her helmet.
Meanwhile, Irie Bell, lead jammer for the Heartless Heathers.
Oh, she has one player left to beat, but unfortunately for her, that is Megan Moffitt, who has just been a juggernaut out there this evening.
You're a juggernaut.
Your mom's a juggernaut.
Pushing forward through that last blocker, Deluxe. That's Irie Bell putting up 5 more for the Heartless Heathers.
Nice tight pack right now. They're trying to get their jammer out, but Megan Moffitt and Knife have got her locked in with a truck and trailer.
Some teammate blocking up front. That's Frack with the force out, but she's going to be, nope, no penalty there.
Well, Smalls, she picked up a penalty, so she is headed to the penalty box. Irie Bell, a lot of red around her, but she continues to push forward.
Great communication here by the Breakneck Betties as they elaborate on each other as to how far they can hit and stay on that jammer. Irie Bell continues to break out, and that's going to be 5 more for the Heartless Heathers.
Up front. Oh, look at that. Northern Lights out. Did some great quickness. Gets around those 2 blockers, and she is out. Irie Bell, good heads-up play. She called it off, and this jam comes to an end, 0-0. New Belgian Brewing Company, Fat Tire Ale, and Ranger IPA. You can grab one from concessions, but not at the end of the game.
We're at less than 2 minutes on the game clock. We'll continue to have jams until there are less than 30 seconds on that game clock. And if we have a last jam, then you'll want to watch the jam clock, not the game clock.
The whistle has blown. I don't think anybody heard it, though. Headache, though. She's off. She hits that pack hard. Blasts her way through for lead jammer.
Ivy just not far behind. She exploded out that pack, but there are 2 blockers down for the Betties, so Headache does the right thing, the smart thing, calls that jam off, puts 4 up, puts her hands down.
Well, for those of you watching at home right now, Heather's commanding lead, 236. Breakneck Betties at 117. They what they did was they took advantage of the penalties that were being assessed out there. Breakneck Betties got into penalty trouble, and they have just ran away with it.
Just kidding. We have a timeout being called. That looks to be a Heartless Heathers timeout. Correction, Cosmo will be calling an official review for the Heartless Heathers.
Nope, it doesn't look like he wants it. Nope, no review for you. You get nothing. He just wanted to step on the track and, you know, show his lack of beardness.
Be all half beardy. And again, we're back down to this micro pack, 2 blockers apiece for each team. Frenchie Moffitt and Taddy Munster blocking for the Heartless Heathers. That's going to get Screaming Beaver with lead jammer status. And that's Taddy Munster with a huge force out.
Yep. And Northern Lights out. She's down there in the corner. But Taddy Munster, she's going to be serving some time in that penalty box. Is going to put 1 blocker out there, and that is Moffitt.
And she does a heck of a job buying time for her jammer.
Oh, Screaming Beaver coming in very hot. She jumps through.
Yeah, Deluxe absorbs a huge hit by Screamin' Beaver, but Beaver continues her forward momentum and puts 5 more points up on the board for the Heartless Heathers.
Northern Lights out, taking it nice and easy. She knows the time is on her side.
Oh, and Beaver just sneaks around, gets really low, and is able to avoid a force out from Frack.
Lights out, getting tapped out on that outside lane. And this comes to an end.
And the clock has expired, which makes that the unofficial final score and the end of the game. We leave it to our officials to recalculate all those points. So we'll get back to you with the final score momentarily.
And you're going to see us down on the track. Don't go anywhere. We've got the MVPs coming up next.
And we have a final score. Breakneck Betties, 121 to Heartless Heathers, 245 points. Congratulations to the Heartless Heathers.
Well, I think it's safe to say, the Heartless Heathers, why don't you guys go ahead and take yourself a lap.
Yay, Heartless Heathers!
I'm a little loud here.
Congratulations!
There you go.
And of course, let's give it up for the Breakneck Betties!
All right, you've been here the whole time. Don't go no place. We're going to do the MVPs coming up right now. All right, who will I be joined with from the Betties? All right, so as MVP blocker, who do you guys have?
Taddy Munster.
All right, Taddy Munster.
All right, and for MVP jammer
Is Screaming Beaver.
Congratulations, Taddy Munster and Screaming Beaver. I'm here with the Heartless Heathers captains. Who we got for MVP Breakneck Betties blocker?
Nuts.
Chestnuts. She's too busy talking about having Taco Bell after the game. And MVP jammer for the Breakneck Betties.
Ivy.
Ivy Card Attack!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank everybody who came out tonight. I want to thank everybody at home for watching. You saw it here, Ophelia Millen's first night on the mic with the King. Thank you very much from me and the Rose City Rollers. Have a great night.